Morning, Joe. Oh, I'm okay. Tired. Tired of these stupid pens running out of ink the second I open them. It was the best of pen. It was the worst of pen. The best form of invisible ink you can buy. In the form of Le Pen, Sharpay, 2004. The lot number for this brand is 1-3445-1745-A. If ever you need the lot number, just let me know. It's not a lot. Good day. Good day, Passer. Let's see if this one works. Oh, that's much better. Much better angle. Isn't that Simon Pegg's name in Hot Fuzz? Angle? Is it? No, it's not Chris. What's his first name in it? I was going to say Chris. It's the angle. Angel. I just watched that movie. I watch that movie every few years because it's funny. I always notice something I didn't notice before. It's almost like that's how it is with movies. When you watch them a few times, then you notice something that you never watched before. And like going to like a like a cold case or something like that. After like 20 years, I go back to this grave that I buried this person. I mean this case that is still ongoing. That's like it happened yesterday. 20 years ago. Oh my gosh. Imagine being on the run and on 4 different planets in 3 different dimensions. For something you absolutely did do. But, you know, still hasn't been done in this dimension, so I guess I'm. There's an expression in my realm. It's called Sean free, but over here it's called scot free. So I get off scot free over here. Yeah. Yeah. Here comes the voice. Here comes the voice. I worked on the mural a lot yesterday. Got a lot of good feedback. I know, seriously. This is the first time I haven't smoked weed and started working on a drawing in probably hmm. Let's see. Never. I don't think ever. I mean, I draw and stuff when I don't know. When I really want to sit down and work on something, I definitely always smoke first. And it's funny because I get accused of doing hard drugs, but I can't afford them. I can't find them. And if anybody knows where they are, please let me know because I'm dying to find them. Literally, sitting here dying every day, a little bit more, looking for that hard stuff. But I get accused of it. But that's what cannabis does to me. It just turns on my little brain, turns me into a maniac, turns me into a fiend. No, it just helps me tap into something, but I need to learn how to tap into it without the use of chemicals. Because I've got enough chemicals in my brain, doing enough weird shit. And I think cannabis has only been holding me back now, because I use it as a crutch. I don't use it as a stabilizer. It's wholly unpredictable. How are you supposed to stabilize yourself if you don't know how much consumption you can do before consumption takes over your whole body as stabilizing in the process? You know what I mean? Okay, one second. Anywho. But I was also having all sorts of interesting dreams. The gentleman at the space where I'm making the mural, I mean, the mural is humongous. It is just humongous. And it's like one of these first times I was over there when there were actual people there. I had started it at one point and went back, but there were people there, so I was just too distracted to work on it, really. But this lady was asking me about murals and stuff, and I said, "Oh, it's my first one," because I was standing there looking at it. You know how somebody does these. You take a step back from something and you just stare at it, or at least I do. Um, I look at it and I'm mapping it out in my brain. Okay, that's feasible. You know, looking at things, and then I'm standing there for a long time, and she comes over and she's like, "What?" I'm looking at my mural. This isn't yesterday. This is like a few weeks ago, or whatever. And I'm sitting there looking at my mural, and she says, "What are you looking at?" This lady, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm looking at my art, trying to map it out in my brain." And then she went on to say, and this is something that happens to me a lot when I show any sort of naivety when it comes to anything. Like whoever I'm talking to just like goes overboard because they think I don't know anything. Apparently, it's like the weirdest thing from the pet world to the art world to this fucking stupid world that we live in. Um, and anyways, she was just telling me like, oh yeah, I've done like hundreds of murals, and I'm like, oh cool, because I was telling her it was my first. I'm like, okay, cool. Didn't ask, but yeah, that's great. And she's like, yeah. So if you need anything, projectors or anything like that, and I'm sitting there, and I'm looking at the mural, which is similar to this style, and I'm like looking at her, and I'm hoping that she can just catch herself by saying it because I can't do this on a projector. I can't project this onto a wall and get it and do it. Like it's not projector worthy art. I don't know if anybody would be able to. Even a tattoo artist would have a hard time putting this shit on somebody. Even if it was a what do you call it? They like make little copies of them and put them on your skin? I mean, I'm sure they could, but it would, it would probably be a little daunting. And the whole idea with this, even though and then I told her, I was like, well, this is my first mural, so I didn't want to use a projector. Plus, the wall is not flat, and so if I had a solid idea of something I wanted to do on this wall, it would have been very difficult because of it being very bumpy, and there's holes in it, and there's bricks protruding here and there, and so it wouldn't have been smart. And you would think that somebody who had done hundreds of murals, but also she didn't know what kind of stuff. Maybe like it was the early stages of the piece, and maybe she didn't understand my style too much, even though I thought she had seen my artwork before. It wasn't a big deal. It's just one of those things that kind of annoys me when people just don't like. It's like she just the whole reason that she brought it up was just to let me know that she has done hundreds of murals, and I have only done this one, or something. That's how it sort of felt. So I'm just like, okay, I don't care. And then it almost seemed like not like a jealousy thing or something, but maybe she was kind of peeved that they didn't ask her to do it in there. I don't know. But she's really nice to me. She spits on my face every time I see her, but she's super nice. Every time I see her, I put a spit guard on her. Highly opinionated, can launch a spit loogie from 20, 30 kilometers away, no problem. And yeah, she's done a lot of murals. So I'm glad we all got that out of the way now. I said her name was Banksy or something like that. I don't know. Not even remotely interested. Really? That's interesting. I dream no matter what. Even when I drink alcohol. Even when I drank alcohol, I would have the most intense fucking dreams you could ever imagine. Yeah, it doesn't matter if I smoke or drink or I'm trying to think of like the only time I've never dreamed. I just can't remember. I've never had a problem with that. I feel like just when I shut my eyes, my dreams kind of just take over. They're just creeping right there behind my eyelids constantly. And that's why sometimes this world gets super fucking overwhelming because I see a different life. You know, it is like living in dimensions different. It's like a different version of yourself every night. For me, it's like the same kind of world I go to too as well. It's a post-apocalyptic version of the world we live in now. Even though like my dreams are slowly catching up to reality these days with the way the fires are and the world is. Around here in California, you go to certain stores and it looks like they've been hit by bombs or something like that. That's how it was in Portland too. It was like they didn't even bother keeping things on the shelves because people just go through there and just rampage. It's quite wild. But I remember noticing that in California when there was this huge influx of homeless people that were coming through Chico and stuff, and I hadn't visited there in years. That's my hometown, and I went back after several years to visit, and it was just disgusting there. There was just like shit on the streets and vomit all over the place, and it always cracks me up when people are like, "Oh, it's these darn Republicans. Oh, it's this darn Democrat mayor who's in charge. Oh, blame them." It's like, it doesn't matter. I'm from Grants Pass, Oregon, and they have a horrible issue with homeless right now, and that's all Republican. You know, all these like fucking yippity doo dah motherfuckers up there that acting like they can talk to God and shit. I don't even know what he fucking looks like. I don't give a fuck who you, what side of the aisle you're on. You're fucking everybody over. If you follow these fuckers, makes me sad, man. That kids don't have the same, like children won't have the same sort of, I don't know, won't get to see the world in the same way that a lot of us have or did. They're growing up in this post-apocalyptic version of what America and like what the world should be or should have been if it wasn't for us voting for monsters every chance we fucking get. All over the world, not just in this dumbass country, by the way. But coward's gonna coward, victim's gonna victim, and Richie's gonna Richard. And actually, the guy from um, the place called Decades that I'm doing that mural in, he wants me to do um, a logo for the place too, and maybe like something for shirts and stuff like that. So I have like so much art stuff coming up here in the next few months. In April, I'm doing another art in the park in Paso, and in May, I'm doing an art show, like the biggest fucking art show of my life here in Paso. But I'm also doing an art in the park in Morro Bay, which is about 30 miles west of here, in May. I finally fucking got in touch with my brother. He finally responded to me, and so we've sort of been slowly talking here and there, which is pretty amazing. I haven't heard my real brother's voice in like 4 years, but he just stopped answering the phone. But now we're slowly talking again, which is cool. Anyway, sorry. Not trying to be all negative or anything. No, I'm not trying to be negative. I don't feel so hot this morning either, though. And I had to go out and work in Cambria. Messed up on an order the other day, so I feel like a dork still about something from work. But it's like, if they don't tell me shit, how am I supposed to know? Kind of stuff. But I still got like a scolding from somebody. I'm like, don't fucking talk to me like that. And I have to work with that person today. And I just have a feeling I'm going to tell her, don't fucking talk to me like that. I'm not a fucking idiot. It's like, it's not my fault y'all don't want to talk to me or tell me how to do my fucking job. And then I'm just going to leave. And then I'm going to be fucked. Nah, she's cool. It's just, you don't need to scold people for things that they didn't know to do in the first place, is all. Fucking day jobs, right? Am I right? Actually, I'm not sure if I'm working with her or not. Let me check. I'm going to check on that right now. It's almost 6 o'clock. I have to be there at 10. Okay. Okay, let's see. What's today? Today's the... Oh, I think I'm working by myself out there, actually. Sweet. Oh, that's right, because yesterday was Thursday. So I'm working out there tomorrow and today. Okay, okay. And then on Monday, I'm going to see a doctor about some important things. I'm at that age that Pastor was talking about. We're gonna get probed. God, I can't even believe I'm like in my 40s, let alone halfway through them. It's insane. I'm so happy I don't have kids. You probably wouldn't talk to me anyways. Hey guys, don't look at me when I'm talking about you. You guys just roll over. I built those bunk beds for a reason, not so you can sit here and stare at me when I'm going live. Just roll over and look at the wall. Thank you, boys. I have kids. I just don't want them. Stop. You didn't hear that. Sorry. They didn't hear that. I thought they slept like the dead. Boys, I thought you slept. Oh, sorry. So we'll come back up. Sorry, go back to sleep. They're 39 years old each. They're twins. I don't know what to do with them. You guys go get a job today? Oh, sorry. They're still sleeping. And help out your old man. Oh, gosh. I'm reading your comments right now. Yeah, the thing with... It's not that I won't... I mean, I smoked a hell of a lot of cannabis yesterday, but... It's also just... I think it's just... And it's still like I finally found this brand that actually does something to me. Most of the time I'll smoke a joint or something and it just doesn't do anything. Or I'll eat 100 milligrams of an edible and it just gives me like a basic, really, really low feeling of euphoria, if that even. Whereas, when I was a kid and I would eat like a pot brownie or something, that shit would send me to the fucking moon. At least to moon base 14. That's how I got here, actually. But now, yeah, it's when I find something I like, and because when I lived in Portland, I did a lot of it, and I ate a lot of edibles, and I was testing them, to see what I can handle, and I was trying to figure out what I liked and didn't like and stuff, but also I was doing other drugs up there and things, so I was like using cannabis to come down off of other drugs and to like stay somewhat sane or whatever. but um but now I'm not doing any other drugs, and I kind of just don't want to do any drugs. I don't like the idea, I've said this before, but I do not like the idea of something, of needing something or wanting something so bad that it like controls my mood. Like cigarettes. I mean, alcohol, I loved alcohol for the wrong reasons. I loved it because it did change my mood, and it made me not give a shit. And it made me talk shit to people's faces as opposed to running and hiding like I felt like I did from people that were awful to me. No, when I was a drinker, I would get right up in your grill and tell you exactly how I felt. And that's why it was dangerous. I can't believe I have all of my teeth still, or most of them. I mean, even if I got punched by a child, my teeth would have gotten knocked out, but still. All those times in Portland when I was blackout drunk, walking around with a camera, still have my tapes. I still have DV tapes. Probably like 50 or 60 of them, like filled up with all sorts of shenanigans going around Portland back in my 20s, getting drunk, just walking around and like asking people on this. It was like IRL stuff before that was even a thing. I would just go up to people with my puppets after I got out. It was like 10 at night or 9, at night, 11 at night. I'd be walking through downtown towards my house, and I'd have my puppet and my camera, and I'd be asking all these people questions about stuff. Which came first, the chicken or the pussy, and shit like that. Just like walking up to people and doing all this crazy shit. Just by myself, blaring headphones in my ears, like music in my ears, with not knowing if somebody's walking up behind me with a hammer or something. It's like this. It was funny. People would like yell at me from their cars to come over and talk to them because they'd see a camera and a little puppet, and they'd be like, "Get over here, man! Come on over here, talk to me, ask me questions." And I'd run out in the street and ask these people questions. I don't even know how to know how to. I don't even know how to get those into a digital format anymore. There's people on those tapes that are dead now, including me. I'm just a ghost. This is not really Storie Grubb. This is the hand of the man that was once Storie Grubb's arm. See, friends, this is my arm. This was my arm. This is an exact replica of my arm from 2013. Everything has a little thing in there and everything that you use to... It's connected to the hip bone and shit, That's why I was never afraid to destroy myself, because there was always missing parts lying around everywhere. And all I had to do was find the wizard, and he would lead me to them all. And then Mother Isis would put me back together and heal me. And then we'd all live happily ever after again. In a world of love. And that's the thing too, Pastor. I just wanted to touch on really quick about your comment about dreams. Whoa, there's a lot more stuff after that. Not attach. Stumptown. Sorry, are you referring to Cup Portland when you say old stump of Cup? Because there's that really good coffee from up there called Stumptown, and that's another nickname for Portland is Stumptown. It's kind of funny. Let's see. I'm gonna go from both. Eventually, you'll just be. Let's see. Oh, good. So I'm using my tablet. I finally got it back on. Rickety bucket of bolts. Yeah. But let's see. Dreaming. I think even with drugs too, where for me, like reality, I think I've maybe touched on this before a bit, but excuse me. Even when I was when I was 15 or so, and I started really smoking weed, and it was usually only every once in a while because I obviously my dad it's not obvious to most people, but my dad was a cop, and that motherfucker was like a bomb sniffer. I swear he could smell shit from a mile away. But he would never know when I was stoned. It was just the weirdest thing. He would accuse me of, it's like kind of like stupid people on YouTube where they accuse you of being on something when you're not. And it's like, you're like, what? Like, how do you even live? Because he would think that I was on drugs when I wasn't. It was like the weirdest thing. And he was a cop, you know? So it's like, how are you even a cop if that's what you think? Like, no, that's scary shit. Like accusing people of being on drugs and shit when they're not. And I'm his son. But there's always been, I remember when I was 15 and I had this really bad trip with my friends. We were out in the country and it wasn't even a bad trip. It was just that we smoked a lot of, it was my first time smoking green bud. Before that, we called it Mexican weed. I think that's uh, sort of racist to say now, but I don't even know. But it was just like dirt swag, like brick weed or whatever. It came from Mexico. It's whatever. So we called it Mex. Like, and and it was shitty as fuck, but it would get me stoned. It had seeds in it. It was horrible. It was disgusting. It had no smell, but it would really fuck me up. But then that one night we went out into the orchards. We had this orange orchard, and in the middle of the night, and orange trees hang low to the ground, so like nobody's gonna see you when you're out in the middle of this fucking place. And my friend brought some green bud, and we smoked some of it. And he had this little water pipe too. It was the first time I'd ever smoked out of something like that. And holy shit, it like the orange orchard turned into a metallic prison, all chrome and prisons and bars and windows and and I got scared to death and I just started running through the fucking trees towards where I thought the road was. Luckily for me, I have a good sense of direction even when I'm inebriated. And I ran straight through the trees and I got on the road and I just started running. I don't know what the fuck I was running from. But then my friend David all of a sudden was right next to me and we're running and we're screaming, running down the road. And then our older friend Mike bursts out of the orchard. He's the one that had the the green bud and everything, but he's like my brother's age, so he's older than us, like 4 years older. Big dude, football player and shit. But he's like chasing us down the fucking street, throwing rocks at us and shit. And we're just like, I'm like, what the fuck? Is he throwing rock? I'm like seeing rocks like, hitting right next to where I'm like running. I'm like zigzagging and shit, trying to like I don't know why he was doing that, but we were just like running and then we just started like laughing and shit. But anyways, the high lasted forever. And it was one of those things as a kid, you think you're not so experienced with it. And you think, oh my God, I'm never going to come down. I'm never coming down. And I remember praying that night to like God or whatever, asking it to like save me or something. And I was saying like, I'll never do it again. And because it was scary to me to be in that world. You know what I mean? It was scary because it opens your eyes, opens your mind and to whatever it wants to see, whatever you allow it to see. And that as a kid, you don't have much control over that. So my mind, these guys definitely didn't have the same experiences that I had mentally because of my imagination taking over. And my imagination has always just been through the roof, 1000% on fire. And that night was the most it had ever been. I mean, I literally, in my mind, I turned an orange orchard in the middle of the night into a bright, shiny, metallic prison that I had to escape or I was going to die or some shit. I can still see it in my mind. Like, I don't even know how that's possible, but because my eyes were open. It wasn't like I was shutting my eyes and daydreaming it. It was right before my eyes. And I was like, couldn't get out of this prison. So I just started running. And that's why I think like sometimes that shit must have been laced. But these guys were on the same shit. They were smoking the same stuff and they weren't tripping as much as I was. But they'd also smoked before me and had more tolerance maybe too, but still. Anyways, long story short, I remember maybe doing that a few other times, like for God. I remember thinking, oh man, if I survive this night, I'll never do that again, kind of stuff. But then at one point, I just realized that like it took me a long time to realize this is exactly what was happening to me. But I just really, really, really like the journey, even if it's scary. I like the escapism of drugs, and I like just being a little bit more inebriated, just even if it's out in public. That way, I feel like I have an edge over somebody, or I don't am not looking at the world the same way as everybody else seems to be. Even though everybody's on something, you know? Everybody's on something. Even if they're sober, there's some kind of weird little fucking sober agenda that they're doing. I'm looking at you, Joel. Just kidding. Um, but I'm at that point now where it's like I don't know if I need this anymore. I don't know if I need this to be creative. I don't think I need it to be a better person or to think outside the box. I went 15 years of my life without using it, and I was the most prolific little fucking kid you could ever imagine. Um, if anything, it holds me back. It holds me back because it makes it to where I don't want to draw unless I'm stoned, and that's a really weird place to find yourself in after so many years of. It's like, would I even be an artist if I didn't smoke, kind of thing, you know? Would I even want to draw? I think I would want to go back to law school, and I'd want to become a lawyer or some kind of superhero. I don't, maybe like a superhero, maybe. I want to fight crime, you know? I want to be a police officer. I want to be the first meth head police officer. I'm going to lose all of my teeth. That way nobody will catch me because if I get new teeth, they're not going to be able to tell. They won't be able to match those bite marks from like 20 years ago. So anyways, it's always smart to, if you're going to get a job, get one that's going to like, support your hobby as well. In my case, it's art. Art. Murder's my job. Haven't you ever read? French fry? Haven't you ever read Jonathan Livingston Seagull? There are some laws. If you find yourself skyrocketing towards the ocean at 1,000 miles per hour, there's laws of flight that you must adhere to. But Jonathan pushed the boundaries, and well, he didn't live to tell about it. But he did break the barrier, the sound barrier. There's plenty of laws you got to follow when you're in flight, unless you want to die. As far as American laws for seagulls, I only know one. There's no loitering, unfortunately. So you just got to be careful with that. Yeah, I got a lot of good feedback yesterday from Sheldon about the mural. And he said a lot of people have been going in there. The owner from not the owner, but the guy that there's a record store that's right next door to the bar. It's called Traffic Records. You can Google it. But it's a cool vinyl, like actual record shop. And I have never even been in there. I'm not a big vinyl person. I appreciate vinyl, but I don't have a record player, and I barely just sit around listening to music like that. I feel like I'm frantically trying to like be discovered or something like that. That way, I could someday have that kind of a world where I could have a room or something like that in a house where I could just go and listen to music and just watch things that people recommend to me. But no, if I'm doing this, then that means I don't even know. I just don't ever have spare time. Even to do my hobby, it's like I don't even make enough spare time to do things with my hobby that I should be doing. But the mural has been taking up a lot of my time. It's nice though because I have until the end of February to finish it, and I'm already like almost halfway done with it. So I don't know, just babbling. Yeah, it's pretty big. And that's the thing too. It's just one of those things. I wanted to tell that lady. Sometimes you talk to people and they just don't even let you say anything. But and I'm guilty of that when I'm excited about something or whatever. But I what she was I figure it's like my piece and we're standing next to it and you would think that she would even say like, "So what is it about?" or just anything, but it was just like, "I've done murals." And like, "Well, no, yeah, I know. People do murals all the time. This is my first mural. I'm not going to do a projection version of a drawing. Plus, it's just I can't I guess I understand the projector idea for something massive and outside. But I'm inside and it's a controlled environment. I have a key. I can go in there and I work whenever I want. I have another month and a half to finish it. And I'm not too worried about it. And I didn't want my first mural to be projected. I wanted it to be completely freehand. I want people to go in there and be like, "Holy shit, this guy drew this on this wall, like what with this his hands, you know?" And it would, I mean, I guess he would do that with a projector too, but you know what I mean. It's a whole different thing. Like, I didn't have an idea of what I was going to do when I started this, and here it is. Now look at it and weep, you fuckers. The painting actually that it's inspired from is the painting that Sheldon bought of mine, and he's going to hang it in the bar as well. So it's going to be on the other side of the room, across from that thing and from the mural. And it's the same sort of thing. It's a heart and a lungs. It's a nervous system sort of thing. Um, and I think those two. I mean, my art's gonna be all over that place. Especially if I do the freaking logo for him. And now that I got a new S Pen, so now I can do drawings um, on my tablet again. I didn't have an S Pen for a long time. Ooh, ooh, this pen is like brand new. I need to go get a new box. Hey Joel, do you do Patreon? If you're still there, do you do anything like that? Just out of curiosity. I have one, but I don't know. I don't think I have any patrons. Joel's all teamed up with YouTube now. That's crazy. Gosh, I would like to have a nice setup to be able to just somewhere for this is there's like first world problems and stuff, but like, I would like to be able to have a spot where I could just that was dedicated to be just doing this kind of stuff, with good lighting and no noise and all that kind of stuff. I am super lucky to have what I have right now, so I'm not complaining in a strict way. Just daydreaming. I'm very very grateful for what I have. And I'm to blame for what I don't. So it's funny how people will do that. They'll be like, they'll tell you, you should just be grateful with what you have, or you should be proud of what you. No, it's just people. People saying funny shit when they don't mean it. Queen, quick, king, quack, quack, quack. Thank you. I also really would like to learn how to write a grant or meet people. Or I wish I had. I think I have a few friends that know how to write grants. I can spell the name Grant. Oh, yeah, I could see that. But do you feel like you've had to do that, or have you done that? Have you sort of switched your, even, I mean, because you just said it sort of feels like you, but have you noticed a change since you've started it? I mean, that sounds like something that's right up my alley, but sometimes you don't want to put on a fucking show. You just want to be, you just want to do what you're doing. But I could see how there could even be more pressure with that. It's also strange too because now that I'm over 1,000 subscribers, it doesn't, like, I don't know if this is something that's new as well from the new year or just recently, but maybe you know, Joel. But when you stop going live, does it, after 1,000 now, it just automatically goes public, which I think is kind of cool because I don't have to worry about it too much anymore. But holy fuck, am I gonna throw up? For a second there, I thought I was gonna throw up. Let's see, where am I at here? So yeah, basically with this drawing, I turned, can't really see it too. Oh, lift it up for you guys so you can see it. Um, there's my stand that I'm using for. You got to do what you got to do, you know. This is what I put my. But yeah, this is what I'm going for with this, and like, you can kind of see, this is like the chin, and the bottom of the neck, and the back of the head over here. But it'll be like looking that way. So I had like an eye right there. The other eye would be maybe here, one of these other circular things, and then kind of saw this as a mouth, and that's why I drew the teeth right here. But obviously when it's done, it's going to look a little bit different. Might round off the head a bit more up here and just have it, the neck coming down back here. That's the general idea I have for now. Yeah, I get that. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't even look at mine anymore either. Because now it's like this whole other daunting thing of hours, watched hours that I have to get. And I'm at like 400 or something, and I need 4,000 or so. I was like, I've done all this work already, and I still need that many watch hours. I am not. I was happy to get 1,000 subscribers, and now I'm just whatever happens is gonna happen. I'm not gonna like break my balls trying to get people to watch my shit. It's like either they're gonna watch it or they're not. I'm not. There's no amount of me telling them to do it. Besides, it's I'm like, I don't know. Oops, sorry about that. I think I just lost you for a second. But that's the whole point of my show, and I think I've said this before too, Joel, and anybody who cares to listen, is that, I mean, my whole idea with doing these live things was to put on a show. I wanted to do the acting and things like that. And a few months ago, I was trying all sorts of different things and costumes and characters and stuff to do these like weird ass live shows. But then I don't know exactly when it happened, but then I started doing these. It was during the summer, I think, because it was so hot out in the garage. I couldn't film. I couldn't do anything out here because it was just so hot. So I started going inside and into my little bedroom, and you can't do much in a bedroom as far as acting and doing all sorts of weird shit. So I just started drawing, and not that I haven't done this before live, but then I started noticing people giving me good feedback, and I also started noticing can you draw a squirrel eating a cactus in the corner? I'm like, what? Started getting all that kind of stuff, and it's always a trip. It is crazy how much my channel has evolved in the past 6 months. But I'm okay with that too. Everything does. But yeah, I would love to be able to. My goal was to monetize my channel. That way I could even like hire somebody to help me, even if it was part time or something. And I guess that still is a goal, but it's not like the end game anymore by any means. Because it's so silly because it can your channel can be taken away just like that, you know, too. If you're getting, I just don't understand how other channels that have so many people get away with doing so much of the stuff that YouTube says you can't do. I see, I see people doing cover songs of famous people's music and not getting copyright written, but I'll do it and I'll get a copyright strike. And these people aren't like famous; they're just like they have like 3,000 views or something like that. And I'm like, how the fuck are they covering the same song I did, but I got copywritten? So I can't listen to anybody's music. I can't play anybody's songs. Unless they're like my friends or mine. Not complaining about it. That's the game. That's the way the game is set up on this site. But at the same time, I don't understand how it works for some people, and then others it doesn't. Or maybe those people are getting copywritten and they're just not getting in trouble or something. I just don't know. And I mostly just don't care. But it just makes me curious is all. But I'm hella grateful, and I feel like I've earned all the subscriptions that I've gained, and I made a lot of neat new friends along the way as well. Oh yeah, yeah. I think the answer is just in that none of that crap matters. My mom got very, very concerned recently. She thought that people weren't listening or watching or in real life liking me or returning my calls because of that one episode I did where I was just like, fuck the world. I just had a day, and I was just like kind of over it all. And sometimes I think it's important to like show yourself in a negative light for people. That way they know like not everything is peaches and cream all the time. And I certainly don't shy away from my feelings most of the time on here. But yeah, I think someday people might appreciate that kind of stuff because I'm telling my mom like I cry out there all the time. I say things and I don't know. I want people to know exactly. If I'm doing this channel, I want people to be able to look at my art and know exactly what kind of person I am, even if I'm making up all these stupid fucking voices and stuff too. I think that's important. Because a lot of people seem to think that artists just sit around like brooding about everything, like, or they're just so cool, like, I don't know, or they just expect people to say things or talk a certain way or sound a certain way, and when they're not. I'm a big ass geek, and this is the kind of stuff I draw. That's always throwing people off. Like when I meet people in real life, they're like, "You're the one that did this?" Yeah. And then they just walk away after dousing me with kerosene. I'd rather drink turpentine or piss on a bush fire. into this town like an avalanche. Shit. Walked right out from the woods like there was nothing left to change. How does that fucking song go? When we unwind. It's been a while since I've played that song. When we unwind. What's that song? Man, it's been a long time since I played that song. Who knows? An E or an E minor. That's when I'll have to pull out from the woodworks. Uh-oh. There it is. Looks like that side of the head is almost done. What was it? Yesterday I drew into the mural. I drew in City Hall, the City Hall for the town that the mural is in. The building, City Hall, and then I drew Whiskey A Go Go, the famous venue from LA. I drew the Nevermind cover with the baby chasing the dollar bill, because the name of the band, or the name of the venue, is called Decades, and it's basically decades of music, like eras. And for me, I'm just finding all these iconic things that represent eras. And Nevermind was definitely a game changer. But it's hard because there are so many. And when you think about art or music or whatever it is that however you think about art, it's always the people in the background that I think about the most now, who change things and who people don't even really know much about. Like the people who inspired the greats, or who, like for example, Woody Guthrie, how he inspired Bob Dylan, you know. But a lot of people don't know who Woody Guthrie is, but they would know his music maybe if they heard it, but they wouldn't know him, and they wouldn't know how Bob, you know, basically emulated his whole thing off of him. Kind of like, well, we all do that to a degree. I'm not saying he copied him. Just saying that that's maybe some people think that, or maybe even he does, but can't help but emulate people and people that you admire sometimes. And then you find your own groove. And you become your own artist. I should. I'll do that. And yeah, Pastor, I agree. It is. It is like that thing where, you know, I always try to do my thing, but it never stops me from being curious as to how one thing works for one person and the same thing doesn't work for another. You know what I mean? Just and simply because I have been trying for so long to get my work out into the world, and because I don't want to be a clerk for the rest of my life, and at the rate it's been going, that's what it looks like it's going to be. And I think I get frantic sometimes wanting to live a life that I sort of promised myself that I would be living by now, and promised others when I was a dumb kid. But it's hard to explain without sounding like I don't like I'm not grateful or whatever for what I have. But I think as an artist, I'm just never content, and I just always want more. And it's one reason why I'm seeing the doctor, so I can get on some medication or something, because it makes me sick to my stomach to have to work day jobs anymore. Because I feel like I've changed so much, and they customer service jobs just pull you right back into the world of, I don't know. It kind of encourages me to. I mean, that kind of stuff definitely helps me become a better artist too. But I'm at that age now where I'm grateful to have a job and all that stuff, obviously, but it's not the kind of job I want. It's not the kind of job my brain wants, anyways. And so I get poor me about it a lot, thinking like, what did I do wrong and shit? Well, it's like, well, you did a lot wrong. I've done a lot wrong. And you can only blame your insecurities and your anxieties and things like that so much before you just realize that it was all you, and you had the chance all along to do it. You just never did it. But like I've said before, I'm not good at joining other people's clubs, and never been invited into other artists' houses and things like this. Actually, that's not true. I literally have been, but only very recently. And those people just got back from vacation, so I'm gonna go see them very soon. This older artist couple that live by the ocean, they had me to their house, and they're the ones that got me the show at this big ass art studio thing. So, but it's felt like I have been pretty much alone in my life when it comes to art, to a certain degree. Get a lot of good feedback, don't get me wrong, even from other artists, but then people who have platforms or people that could make a difference in my life don't. They just don't do it. They could easily reach out or share my stuff on their page where I'd get more followers or more eyes on my stuff or more this or that, but they just won't do it. And I think I understand that now, because artists get to a certain caliber or something like that, and then they don't talk to people like me. They don't talk to people that are on the low rungs of the art world. And like, it's just like with music. I mean, journalists won't talk to you. You can write the motherfucking best song in the goddamn world, and nobody will give a shit until you get a lawyer or a label or somebody a big wig shares your shit or something like that or whatever. But you might as well fucking be nobody, according to the world. They'll be like, keep making art. No, don't ever stop. Keep making art. So what makes you think I'm stopping, bitch? Shut the fuck up. It's like, how about you stop telling me that? Like, if I ever slow down, if I ever stop making art, then by all means say that. But you're telling me that as I'm making art. Doesn't make any sense. You're not encouraging me, you're annoying me. Oh, I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. That's the thing, Joel. I think farts make. My farts make me. I mean, I feel like that's why I'm so cynical today. I'm a little bit prickly, because those farts are kind of setting the mood. I have gas. I know, it's so weird. People have done that to me in real life too, like at shows and stuff. Like people, other musicians or whatever, after we get done playing or something. I remember there's a few different times when this happened, but one of the last times, this girl from this other band in Idaho, who I really like, they were, I got off stage and I was over at the bar. I'm talking to somebody, her boyfriend actually, at the time, and he was like a really big fan of my stuff, and he was sort of saying the same stuff like your music is just so fucking, your lyrics are so fucking this or that, and you can only hear that stuff so much in a conversation before you're like, okay, like, can we, okay, yep, mm-hmm, because I wasn't drunk. I didn't. I had already quit drinking at this point, but these people were smashed, and it just sitting there listening to people that are super drunk and smelling whiskey on their breath and wishing that you had some in your breath, kind of thing. It just gets old, especially when it's like, you. Why don't you tell me this when you're not drunk? And then the girl took over the conversation. She's like, you need to never stop. Don't ever stop writing songs. Like she's like the one that's keeping me propped up, or like she's my, paying me an allowance so I don't have to work a day job just so I can write songs or something. It's like you're not doing anything to further my need to create music right now, but you just sound silly. I know what they're saying, and I know, but they don't. It's hard to explain to somebody who maybe has never had that kind of uh, thing happen to them. I guess because it's been like that my entire life, where people. How about follow me on social medias, because that's how people like me get support, and don't talk about liking my stuff, just like it and share it or something. I don't know. It's kind of like the whole God thing. It's like, if you're going to tell me that God loves me, what? Okay, but maybe go out there and just show it. Show that God loves me, or prove it. Go out there and let God work through you. And whatever you think is love, show that to the world. You don't have to go online and be like, Jesus loves you. That's like the stupidest fucking thing you could do. Because it does nothing but turn people off to your message in the first place. Because it shows exactly what you're doing right off the bat. Now, if you start a conversation with that thought in your head, but you don't say it, and you just show love, then that's real. That's something that's tangible. But just saying words, you know, when you're feeling frisky, they're just words. And don't get me wrong, again, just to reiterate, I appreciate when people give me good feedback or positive feedback or negative. I love fucking negative feedback, believe me. But um but you don't, these people I'm talking about will say it over and over, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, nope, I don't ever plan on stopping." No, no, really, seriously. No, listen, look at me. Look in my eyes. And I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing right now? Like, you write songs too. Like, what are you doing?" I don't want to look in your eyes. You're fucking wasted. Which eye? They're kind of lazy right now. And then in those situations, like, I'd rather just be home drawing. And that's the beautiful thing about going online, actually, is I can just draw, and people can say that stuff, but I'm not just stuck. I'm not just like at the whim of this person at a bar, because they're being so nice to me, and in front of all these people, they're saying these really kind things, but it's the most annoying stuff, and you have to act like, okay, since you said it, I'll never stop writing music. It's like, bitch, I just wrote 3 songs the second I got off the stage. Like, what are you talking about? Don't ever stop. Like, what the fuck? But maybe that's just another form of projection, like, because they're afraid they're gonna stop or something like that. And you can tell the difference in real life and online when people are genuine, or at least I can. Like that person that just commented something like "wow" or something. I mean, that's genuine to me, because they weren't like, "Wow, draw me a hamster" or something. They were just like, oh, cool. They wanted to say something about the piece, and that was exactly what they should have said. I mean, because that made them say, wow. If I saw something like this, I might say the same thing, you know? I see other pieces of art, and I'm just like, holy shit, you know? I feel like that's the best compliment you can ever give somebody. Just, just be flabbergasted. What are you working on now, Joel? At any rate, I gotta go smoke some weed and take a shower. I don't ever take a shower unless I smoke weed first. Just makes the escapism that much better. Where do you think the boobs should go? I mean, those ones right there, should I put them, should I move them over here somewhere? I mean, is it too late? This is ink on paper, but still. I might be able to, yeah. Yeah, I'm able to grab this thing like a bowling ball. Just working on a chess set? Cool. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, too. About the frustration and disappointment. Yeah, and that's a good point. Because that's the thing. What I was sort of just maybe it's sort of similar, but how people will, if they see you fall, even if it's just an inch, or if they see you getting or using a certain word, or seemingly being a certain, even whatever the fucking way it is, they just assume, they just grasp at the biggest assumptions. It's like the weirdest thing. And this happens all across the board all the time in life, but and I feel like that's what gets all of us in a lot of problems is that we just assume so much about people, you know, especially like on the road and stuff. Like I've noticed like people are just, you can learn a lot from people just by going out and driving around. Because the second they get out of their cars, they're like a human again. But when they're in a car, they act like they're just the most anonymous. They're like not even human. They're just a robot or something. And they just, it's just the weirdest thing. And then you see them at a stoplight after they've been like riding your ass and trying to get around you, and they're just like chilling. And you're like, what the fuck was that all about then, man? Like, why aren't you just chilling behind me 20 feet, you know, instead of like riding my ass? But then again, like sometimes people are, you know, hauling ass because they're having a heart attack or their wife's giving birth or somebody's in a, you know, something. But still, it's not an excuse to put other people's lives in jeopardy. And that's what kills me. That's what gets my goat out on the road. Especially being raised by a stupid cop where like everything on the road, I see everything that people do wrong. And plus, I know there's a lot of a projection on my part because I've done some stupid ass shit when I drive, obviously. And so it's all this fucking shit we always constantly have to navigate. And then on top of that, you know, you have your people telling you you can't do that. You're an artist. And then people are like, you can do that. You're an artist, and you can't do that. You can't say that. You can say this. You should say that. You can't be afraid of anything. You should be afraid of everything. It's just everything is just so dumb and constantly crawling up our butts, trying to come out of our mouths and, as something new. But it's always this the same old shit, different day. If people had time to sit down and pursue their hobbies and not be so stressed out about work or how they're going to pay the rent or how they're going to get their kid through school or get their kid to school, you know, that sort of shit. It's just, people are just very, very frustrated. And I guess it's just easy to look at others as the enemy, because especially when your leaders, all your fucking leaders are telling you to hate everybody around you. It doesn't make for a nice world to be living in. And believe it or not, you know, even with this in this age of information, it's much easier for these fuckers to take advantage of knowledge and power and use it against us and turn us against each other. And that's why I think it is important for us to have these little shows and things like that, and for people to be tuning in, and even the awful people coming into channels like this and getting a nice little roasting, because you know they feel all powerful coming into a small channel and making fun of somebody, but then they don't realize that that somebody isn't as dumb or as naive as they think, and that somebody might have some friends that watch out for them. And that's what life is all about, you know? So, thanks, Joel. I appreciate that. Boobs go everywhere, and I agree. I got one right in the middle of my forehead. Hi, Tara. Grand Theft Auto. Well, and that's the thing. Back in the '90s, it was gangster rap, you know, and or like heavy metal in the '80s and stuff with Satan and all this stuff, and then it became gangster rap. There's always this, and now it's millennials. Everybody hates millennials and shit. It's just like y'all don't even fucking know. Like like one of my friend who moved me down here. He helped me. He's an old childhood friend, and we don't even talk anymore. He helped me drive my shit down here, my U-Haul, and then like I haven't talked to him since because we had a huge falling out because he was such a piece of shit. He's just utterly horrible, like this person's personality, and I gave him so much leeway and tried to be his friend, but fuck it. What was it? He said something stupid about millennials. He's like, well, if it wasn't for millennials being so lazy. And he like meant it. He totally meant it. And I called him out on his shit. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like loading my U-Haul in Portland earlier this year. I'm like, what are you talking about, millennials? And he's like, well, I work with a bunch of millennials at the hospital in Tascadero. And I'm like, I work with a lot of millennials too, man. And every fucking millennial I know is a hard-working motherfucker that has no fucking future to look forward to. Like, what are you talking about? No, children are not to blame for like the mess that we're in now. Like, I don't know where you people get the idea that the kids are to blame, or like people under 30 or whatever it is. Like, they're not the ones who promised revolution and then gave in to corporations and sold us all out like the fucking bunch of cowards they are. No, those aren't millennials. Millennials are like picking up the pieces of a future that they'll never have. And when I say pieces, I mean scraps. So, I don't know. At least that's how it is in America. But I've noticed too, a lot of people don't like it when you don't let them just say lies or just make fucking stupid blanket statements like that. They don't like it. They don't like being called out. And I've lost a lot of friends simply because I won't go along with their stupid, crappy little ideas on what the world is and isn't. Like, one side good, your side bad. These people good, these people bad. It's like, you guys are so immature. Like, what Disney movie are you living in where that fucking actually is a thing? Like, even in Disney movies, that's not a thing. You're fucking idiots. Anyways, I'm not talking to you boys. Just roll over. Don't look over here. It's okay. My kids are still sleeping in their bunk beds. Sorry. There's no heat out here. If I turn the heater on, it's too loud and they can't hear what I'm saying. They're shivering over there. I should probably go turn their heating blankets on. Yeah, not take too much power. I don't have the money. I shouldn't have had kids, but oh shit, they heard me. No, they're still sleeping. No, they're good. One of their foots just kicked. Okay. I could have been an artist if I didn't have kids. That was like no excuse. I think one thing to blame is my brain. Because I think I'm just imagining all this. I don't think any of this is real. And so I'm going to go take a shower and find out. Ah, I'm jealous, Passer. Lord of the Rings. Is it like based on the original like trilogy or something, or is it just, I guess I could look it up. You don't have to. That'd be like I'm not into video games at all, but like I guess like I think Joel was playing Minecraft or something the other day, and you have that going on, and I feel like I can get into those games, but it would just consume me, because it is a lot of fun going into those great games because they're like worlds, you know. That sounds so stupid talking about games because I don't know anything about video games. All I know is like I just like first person, like Left 4 Dead, and I don't even go online when I play Left 4 Dead, but I can now because of where I live. But I'm a pretty good Left 4 Dead zombie killer. But Lord of the Rings would be fun. I've been watching this guy break down the Hobbit movies. Oh gosh, I forget what his channel is. It's on YouTube, but it's basically called like The Hobbit is not very good or something like that. And he has like a video for each of the Hobbit movies that came out, like the trilogy. And they're each like 2.5 hours long, and he just dissects them and talks about how shitty they are. I hate the Hobbit movies. I cannot stand what they did with those movies. They had such a golden opportunity, and they ruined it. Ruined it. Oh man, if you ever have a chance to see behind the scenes or anything like that about that movie, it's insane the kind of shit that they did for it. And it's just, oh, it's a bastardization of everything that the original trilogy was. There are aspects of them that I like, but most of it is just complete gibberish. They're trying to blend the line between a children's book, which The Hobbit was basically, and the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which was a very much more adult, feeling set of movies. And I don't know, I watch a lot of review channels and things like that about movies, and some movies and things like that that I've never even seen or will never seen. I've watched tons of things on Rings of Power, but I'll never watch that fucking show because I fucking hate Amazon, and I cannot stand anything that they did with any of those characters because they just took way too many liberties when they didn't even need to. There's so much rich culture, like lore in that universe, and they just ruined it. Um, but the original series, man, holy crap! Because can you imagine if Guillermo del Toro did the fucking Hobbit? Oh my god! And he was on board to do it. He was on board. Like he started making The Hobbit, and then like the studio didn't like what he was doing, and then they had fucking Peter Jackson come back in, and even Peter didn't want to do The Hobbit, and so like yay, that's supposed to get us all excited. Oh man, I don't want to do The Hobbit. Yay! So you can just imagine. Anyways, oh, Tunnels of Goblin Town, nice. I'm sorry, Nathan. I don't know if I can play that because it would get me copyright. And plus, I think you might have asked me to do that song before, and I don't know this song. But maybe I can look it up, okay? And you know, I'm not like I don't know, just don't know that name, I'm sorry. But thank you for even thinking that I could cover that song. But at that rate, thanks for hanging out, everybody. I'm gonna go and get ready for my day. So stay positive. Go kill some goblins, Passer. And Joel, you take care of your bad self. And I don't know, give your good self a good kick in the little butt for me. How about that? Yeah, I'm exercising the demons. Hold on, I'm coming back. Okay, here I am. Okay, guys, y'all take care now. I can't believe that was like an hour and a half almost. It's crazy. All right, happy Friday.